From Timcast.com, new report finds U.S. military is weak, unable to win a single major regional conflict. Analysis identified profound lack of seriousness as a contributing factor to the U.S. military's decline. Ian, you were just talking about a lack of strong men.
Yeah, I was wondering where they are, why society is obsessed with people like Donald Trump and Jordan Peterson, these men that are giving young children guidance like the heroes of our lives. And it's because they were sent to Afghanistan and Iraq on a false premise that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which he didn't have. They were lied, went to fight an unjust war, had their psychology destroyed, knowing that they were fighting some false narrative, and then their bodies blown apart, their friends destroyed. And now they're shaken, and our leaders are absent. They are the one. They're supposed to be leading the nation right now, and instead we got Fauci. I wrote Joe, 86-year-old president. How old is this guy now? 84 years old, and he's supposed to be our military commander.
I think when you talk about where did the strong men go, and I understand your point there too, but something else that I like to harp on a little bit is testosterone. If you look at what's happened to male testosterone over the years, it's nearly half of what it was 50 years ago. So men today are not the same men of 50 years ago. And so I think that might explain a little bit about where we're at. And I think that until people start realizing and addressing that, it's not going to change.
Yeah. Most 20-year-olds have the same testosterone levels as 50 and 60-year-olds.
Right now. PFAs, PFAs, phthalates,
all
PCBs.
Of these things.
Yeah. I wrote about it.
Glass bottle water. Right
I wrote
here.
about
Marco Rubio, small water.
Our soldiers are some of the most badass humans on earth. Those dudes. Every time I meet a returning, I don't know did you serve in the military?
No.
But every time I have an opportunity to talk to someone that's actually seen combat or experienced that it's so valuable to the human consciousness to understand what that is, and those people to put their lives on the line like that. But to have gone through a false war, I mean, I don't know, would you call that a false flag? If the government says he has weapons of mass destruction, you go in, he doesn't. Yeah, they said they had bad info. George Bush Jr. is like, we had bad intelligence. Well, you know what? It's on you, George.
They didn't even go through a false flag. They just claimed it was.
And then it wasn't. It was like the next level of false flag.
Well, there was people within the government that came out and said, "Hey, there's no WMDs here." They were silenced. They were shunned. They were threatened. There was media organizations. There was activists coming forward. Hey, this is not true. This is not happening. Shunned. Silenced.
They should have just come out and been like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Saddam Hussein is trying to trade oil in euro." And then people would be like, huh?
We need you to mobilize like stormtroopers and invade and conquer their land. Imagine how no one would have done it. People would have revolted. They would have said, no, we're not invaders, dude.
You say that, but I don't know that they would have revolted. I think what you're saying is maybe the right thing, but I don't know that the people would have revolted. They would have worn the mask and done as they're told, like most Republicans did and quote unquote conservatives did, and shut down their country and done whatever the hell the government told them. People are sheep.
But that's with an excuse. Like, if we told people the truth about Iraq, then they would not.
You could have kind of had the truth on the pandemic early on. I guess my point is a lot of the people that even speak out and claim they're conservative, this, that, and the other, the vast majority of people are followers.
This is because the pandemic rolls around and our male adult leaders are broken from their service in the military. Like this, those are the guys that are supposed to be in Congress right now running the show. These are the leaders. They're the ones that are the brave ones.
I struggle with that. If you think that just because someone's in the military makes them a great leader, then that means we've got barracks full of future presidents. No, it does. I'm just saying. So if you look at a lot of this,
John McCain
canceled on this. I was about to say you got John McCain, you got Dan Crenshaw. Like if you do look, they are, unless you're maybe the true generals and stuff like this, they're kind of used to following orders from the government, and that doesn't always equal the best congressman. I know I'm getting canceled. I'm sorry.
They make great politicians. You know,
that's a great point.
The multinational corporations and the big bankers are their generals, and they just follow the orders.
I want to clarify. I don't think that being in the military makes you a great leader, but I think that great leaders are drawn to military command. And when you find out that you've been commanding a military on a false premise and you've been kicking in doors in Fallujah and killing families.
Okay, do you assume the same with the police, though?
No, I don't know much. They're different systems to me. I think putting your life, going and willing to fight and kill people.
But why are you assuming that's what the military is? See, Ian, you don't understand what the military is.
A killing
Some
machine.
people are I want money. All right, I want to be.
Hold on. I mean, guys.
Enlisted dudes.
There's no one in this room who's a veteran. Okay, right? Not a single person.
I stayed a Holiday Inn last night, though.
And the most I can say is that I've spent a few months, a couple different times on military bases. But let me tell you, a lot of it is just administrative work. So assuming that someone joining the military, army, navy, whatever it is fighting is wrong.
Yeah, but
Like,
or they're
some
in
people
command
are-
or in support of the fighting. It's one or the other.
Yeah, but bro, someone might be like a refrigerator repairman in Nebraska.
That's,
They work for the
that's
government,
repairing
so
refrigerators for the troops in Afghanistan that are killing.
No, dude, come on.
Or they're keeping the administration
the point
going.
I'm trying to make is
Or the war machine.
When you say that, if you want to make a point about people who have seen combat, it's different from the military. in
No,
general.
I'm talking about command structure, basically.
Somebody who repaired refrigerators in Nebraska is no different than a private refrigerator repairman. I mean, I guess it went through basic
but great
training.
leaders aren't drawn. I'm not saying maybe you're a refrigerator repairman and you are a great leader, but usually great leaders are drawn to military command. Like they want to protect and serve the world.
I think maybe you're picturing people of the past, that maybe the World War II era military veterans, which a lot of them did see combat if you were in World War II, and equating that to what today is. But I just don't see it today.
Bro, when a 22-year-old he gets a commission and then outranks like a 45-year-old NCO, like those are funny scenarios that I've seen as just someone, as a family member at the what is it called, the commissary? Is that what they call them? I don't know, because I just have family members, and I'm like buying food, and I hear the grumbling from the guy who's like a non-commissioned officer being like, why is a 22-year-old giving me the business?
Oh, then he's got a bad commander. A good 22-year-old,
Like, bro, come on.
a good 22-year-old commander will defer to his NCO.
No.
Yes,
No.
a good one will, because he doesn't always do. He's green.
No, they outrank him.
Yeah, but you still, as your the commander, you defer to the guy with the experience in real life situations.
Ian, right now the military is training guys how to wear heels. Right.
That's
literally
unfortunately
happening. That's
Society
happening
has
right
been
now.
shattered by the war in Iraq.
Okay, I think maybe you can put part of the blame on the war in Iraq, but I'm just there's I think a lot of other factors that come into play, and I do think kind of my point about the police versus the military. You don't have the same belief in police that are willing to put their lives on the line, etc. I think you make a hard time jumping to just because it's military police is different.
Military command. I'm talking about commanders. The commanding force of our military is like some of the greatest humans on earth. That's why they're in charge of our military. And we need those people in civilian life doing the same thing for our consciousness.
Aren't these the same people that you were earlier talking about committing the atrocities of sending drones over and killing people in frivolous wars?
Yeah, they were ordered by George Bush to do that.
Well, then you're not a damn leader. You're not an effing leader if you do
but I don't know
what
if
the
they're the
hell
same
you were
people.
told because someone had a piece of brass on their shoulder. Again, I know I'm getting canceled. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, like these people are still following orders. And that, to me, there's been a lot of horrific evil that's taken place in the world because of following orders.
And Donald Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, all of these presidents have the generals walk in and say, here's what we're going to do and why we have to do it. And they say, okay.
Yep.
Donald Trump was very susceptible to just believing that generals were smart. He put a lot of faith in the military, and he really believed what they had to say. And boy, did they screw him over.
Yeah.
Well, no, and also, Ivanka came in and Jared came in and they're like, we want you to bomb Syria. Trump's like, okay, go bomb Syria. And that's what Trump did. That's according to Trump's own son, by the way, not just hearsay.
And look at what they did when Trump was like, you know what? I'm getting our troops out of Syria because I made a promise to the American people. And they went, oh, you got it, boss. Don't do it. And then they lied to us and claimed they did when they didn't.
I was watching video. Well, I mentioned that they shall not grow old. And when you see returning troops get treated like garbage, like it just shatters their confidence and makes them unable to function in society. Like it's for our troops to come back from Iraq and Afghanistan and be treated like they did something wrong is the worst morale destruction of our society.
Yeah, look at
I
Vietnam.
agree. Yes, I agree. But exactly what he's saying. You look back to Vietnam, the same thing. And I don't know that I don't think you could say that men were destroyed from being men after Vietnam.
Yeah, they were. That generation was annihilated. They had no confidence. They were completely used and abused.
I understand that they were mistreated some when they got back, but I guess my point is you're saying that where did the men go? And I guess, so did we lose men being men after Vietnam, or did it happen?
It happened after Iraq. Our current society, this flawed narrative that we're struggling with right now as a result of a lack of male leadership. This idea that there's toxic masculinity.
I agree with that.
You guys want to hear a funny factoid? Do you know why Smith is the most common last name? Smith, Schmidt, and other forms of it? Because whenever a war would break out, there was one group of people that would never be sent to war and one group of people that would never be executed when a nation was conquered.
The people that can make things.
The blacksmiths.
Yes.
So when a war broke out, the blacksmiths, the Smiths, would stay behind and make weapons. If an enemy force took over that country or land, they would kill everyone but the Smiths.
Because they could use
So
them
the
again.
Smiths kept
Incredible.
having kids.
Yep, exactly.
That's right, because they were valuable. You needed someone to make the weapons. So my point there is the people who didn't see the war typically were the ones that propagated. And, you know, I think to your point, Ian, it's actually more than you realize. Like Vietnam, World War II, we had people come back from World War II, the greatest generation. Vietnam was destructive. I mean, people lost their minds. And then you get Iraq and Afghanistan, and also it's insanity at that point. I mean, World War II, I think for a lot of people, regardless of your politics, there was something really bad going on in this world. And my understanding is the U.S. didn't know the Holocaust was happening until after they got there.
It was later.
It's true.
But
Well, that's contended. There's Polish contested.
They knew about it.
Contended. Let's figure this out.
Contended
I
makes
think it's
sense.
both.
I think contended
both
makes sense.
contending the contestant.
Lucasms.
Listen, I'll make all the words up I want. And
It's his truth.
So you think they knew?
Exactly, my truth. They absolutely did know, and they were given intelligence, especially from Polish government officials. And there was a lot of photos, there was a lot of videos, and they had the opportunity to bomb the railroads, according to the history that I particularly saw, and decided not to. And there was, a lot of corruption within our government, and a lot of Nazis within our government, like Prescott Bush, that of course openly supported Hitler, along with the Rockefellers and other very powerful families.
They definitely knew about it.
World War II was sort of a defensive war because Hitler had taken France at that point. And the argument, they will try to make it look defensive. That's the whole thing. We were attacked by Osama bin Laden. We must create a war. No, that wasn't a defensive war. That was a war of aggression. And they used some cheap pretext for it. Watch out for the next one.
Definition of Cambridge English Dictionary, Tim. Contended is a real word.
So when you
I
put,
know it's a real word, but it doesn't make sense in the context
Yes, it
in which
does.
you applied it.
when you
Yes, I
put
did.
rockets on the border,
Read the definition.
when you put rockets on the border of Russia and then Russia invades to take care of those rockets, you can't call it a defensive war because Russia is the one that crossed the line. You put the rockets right there on the other side. It's not a war of defense right now. It's just as aggro as Vietnam. It's nuts.
Yeah. Would America allow those weapons on the Mexican border?
Hell no. Hell no. And like Russia needs Black Sea access through Novosibirsk. If Canada had our entire West Coast, had just a strip of land all down the West Coast, California, we didn't have any Pacific Coast access, we would have invaded
No
to
way,
take
no, we
that
wouldn't have.
Pacific
Yeah.
access.
I
It's
agree.
not gonna happen.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.